has an excellent track record when it comes to immunization. In fact, we've been ranked in the top 10 in immunization coverage in both Central America and the Caribbean.
We have more than 95% coverage in all the immunization program for the country and globally as well. So I must thank the nurses, primarily the rural health nurses who are involved in this initiative. They do a very good job in getting the children immunized in this country. The challenging areas are those, primarily those villages or towns that are very distant, primarily the villages, out in the very remote areas where, people would have children, but yet they do not seek medical attention. Sometimes the nurses in these areas do not know that these people have delivered a child, and they will raise these children without having an immunization.
Global immunization campaigns led to the eradication of smallpox in the 80s. And in the course of history, scientists have only been able to conquer two diseases, smallpox and another which only affected cattle. Today, with a 99.9% reduction in cases since the 80s, the world is on the verge of conquering its third disease, the once prevalent polio.
We are very close. We've had 99% decrease in polio incidences globally. We have only 2 countries presently that still have endemic transmission of polio, and that is Afghanistan and Pakistan. And this is because they have challenges in those areas to get children immunized that has to do with security and other issues. But Nigeria and India were also 2 of the countries in the top 4, and they have now have a decrease in which they have had no cases since 2014. So India went on a mass campaign to immunize all their children, and this led then, it showed that it can be effective if we do have the initiative to do the immunization coverage. Polio, as we all know, it can be very severe because it does cause paralysis in children primarily. And of course, once these children are paralyzed, it is said that 1 in 10 of these will remain paralytic for the rest of their lives. So again, disability for these children is a problem for these, and then adults as well. The expectation, yes, is to eradicate polio by 2020. This initiative started in 2015, and it will go up to 2020.
The first step in this final phase is to introduce a new vaccine, which means that polio drops that was traditionally administered to babies is being replaced, at least in the first round of immunizations.
The first step was to introduce a new vaccine for polio known as the IPV. So it's basically an inactivated polio virus vaccine, and that one is injectable. Unlike the traditional polio vaccines, they were all by oral drops. So this one now is introduced by an injection, intramuscular, usually in the leg, and that will be given as a first dose. Another change in the scheme is that now you have an introduction of a booster at 18 months, which we didn't have, and then another second booster given between 4 and 5 years, which usually was in the scheme.
The first dose is given at 2 months, and then the drops will still be administered at 4 and 6 months. The shift began from 2015, and Dr. Zuniga says there have been no side effects reported other than the redness and soreness at the injection site.
Immunization is very important. We've seen that childhood illnesses, and particularly those that we have as immunizations, have decreased significantly over a period of time since the introduction of vaccines. This shows that we could really decrease the incidences of diseases, of infectious diseases, and even it can lead to eradication, like in the case of polio.